Let's do some more Christmas crafting. I'm sure like us, y'all have some boxes laying around this time of year. I took this one and cut it down shorter. Getting it cut perfectly even wasn't important because I'm going to be covering the whole thing. I took some strips of brown craft paper and some watered down Elmer's glue, school glue, and I'm just going to cover the entire inside of the box and around the top edge of it. I'm going to go ahead at this point and attach the handle, and I used some wired jute, and I wound 2 strands together to make it a more substantial handle as opposed to just one strand. I took my Crocodile Big Bite and I did 2 holes, one on each side for the handle to go through. I have a lot of extra pine cones. Anytime someone offers me pine cones that they have for free because they know that I craft, I say yes, I take them. Well, I ended up having a lot and I wanted to go through some of them and make a craft using up a good bit of them. I used the smaller ones to go around the entire top of the box to cover that top edge. And then I took some of the larger ones that I had and I cut them down and just chopped them up into pieces. I left the smaller ones whole, but then I cut up some of the bigger ones that I had. Now I'm simply hot gluing all of these pine cones and some of these pine cone pieces to all the sides of the box. At this point, I thought it would be a good idea to go ahead and finish off the bottom, and I just took this extra strength craft stick here, glue stick, and I'm going to cover the bottom in paper just to make it look nicer. Now, I didn't do full coverage with the pine cones because that would be a lot of pine cones, so in between each pine cone, I put some moss and just used hot glue for this whole project. Anywhere that there was an ugly pine cone or one that was where I had cut it and part of it looked ugly, I just covered that up with some moss. This would be a very unique basket to give a gift inside of, but it would also make a very good gift itself or a very nice decor piece for you. I'm just showing you here that you could stop at this point if you're just wanting to make like a woodland themed basket to keep out year round, but I wanted to make it a little more Christmassy, and so I'm going to be adding some red berries. To add berries to the handle, I'm using this red berry garland that I got from the Dollar Tree. And then on each side of the box, I'm going to add a few of these red berries. I'm not sure where I got these, but just about any craft store sells them. I might have got these from Walmart. They came in the form of a pick. I did a cluster of 3 on each side, and then I did a couple of singles. This basket will shed occasionally. It's not too bad. I've moved it around a lot, and I don't have any bare spots or anything. It's not shedding that badly. But I did go ahead and give it a clear coat with some Rust-Oleum matte clear. Hobby Lobby was having their paper packs 50% off one week, and I went and got this vintage Christmas paper pack, and I'm going to be using 2 different sheets. I have this oats container. No, it's grits. I have this grits container and a cappuccino, like instant cappuccino. I didn't drink it. I just used the cappuccino as a lighter. I use it in crafting. It's hard to explain, but I had an empty canister there, and I'm going to use these 2 canisters and give them a makeover. I love using oats and grits containers and making them over to use as storage containers. They're really easy to make over and very versatile. Unfortunately, the 12-inch sheet of scrapbook paper didn't quite make it around each of these canisters, so I did have to cut off an extra strip as a filler strip. And you could take your time and see if you could match up the design with your extra sheet, like find the matching piece and make it look perfect, but I wasn't too concerned about perfection here. I'll either be using these to give gifts in or to store Christmas items in my home. This scrap paper was quite thick, and so I didn't have to worry about any wrinkles when I was Mod Podging it, and it went on very nicely. Anywhere where I did see an uneven spot, I just sanded it away to make it smooth. The cappuccino container had a different top and bottom to it, obviously, and I wanted the bottom of the container to match that gold top. I was going to leave that gold plastic top like it was for the most part, and so I wanted it to match. I used this gold paint from the Dollar Tree to paint the bottom, but I went over it first with some brown chalk paint as a base coat. Also different from the grit container was the fact that the label wasn't glued on. It was loose. It wasn't attached all the way around the can, and so I just removed the cappuccino label before I Mod Podged the paper on there. For this lid, I made a little template out of paper, and then I just cut a round out, and I made sure to make the lid, the paper that's going to go on the lid of each of these, to look nice, to have a whole design sort of in the lid to where it looks good. To cover those messy edges where I cut that circle out, I just took some of this red rope. I think I got it from Hobby Lobby, and I just glued it around the edges with hot glue. Sometimes when you paint these flexible plastic lids, because they are, very flexible, the paint a lot of times, it makes it susceptible to chipping off unless you use just the right paint. So I was glad that this lid was already a color that I liked, and I just left it as it was. On the lid of the grits can, I didn't even need to use glue. It was that piece of scrapbook paper was so stiff and it was in there so well, I wasn't worried about it coming out. But I did go back and pry it out of there and put a little glue from a glue stick down inside of there, and just so it wouldn't come out by any chance. This is just a quick reminder that if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. That way you don't miss any future videos. I saw this wrapping paper at the Dollar Tree for $3, which is a little more than usual, but there was quite a bit on the roll and it was very pretty. These paper mache ornaments at Hobby Lobby are usually $2, but they had them 50% off, so I thought $1 a piece was a good deal for these. I just wanted to show you that you don't always have to buy expensive scrapbooking paper to craft with. Keep your eye out for pretty wrapping paper, and you can use it in place of scrapbook paper, and it's much more cost effective. These ornaments had sections that were separated by these sharp sort of peaks, and that made it perfect to sand away the edges on each section. You could do anything to cover these ridges. You could add embellishments, maybe some little half beads or pearls. You could use gold paint or rub and buff instead of the antique wax like I did, but I wanted it to give it a really old look, and so this is the route that I went. You could add a tassel to the bottom or embellish the top with some florals. There's so many things you could do with this, but I usually like very simple designs on things, and so I just left it as is. For this one, I needed a template of a little tree, and so I didn't even trust myself to hand draw a very basic tree shape, and so I searched tree template, Christmas tree template online, and then I just put the paper on my phone and traced that out. I have two different kinds of tags here, a wooden tag and just a kraft tag. I'm pretty sure I got the kraft tags from Dollar Tree, and I got those wood tags from Dollar General, but I was just showing you there that they have some of these kraft tags for sale at Walmart. I took some watered down antique wax and gave a coat to the wooden tag. I used that tree template and traced around it onto some chipboard, some very thin cardboard, about the thickness of a cereal box or a food box. I cut that out, and I'm just hot gluing some moss to this little tree shape here. It took a few times of hot gluing moss and then trimming it away, seeing empty spots, then hot gluing on those empty spots and trimming away again. On one of the trees, I took a little piece of kraft stick and I gave it a coat of antique wax and made a little wooden trunk for the tree. But the other one, I didn't do that. I just stained the actual chipboard with some antique wax, and that looked fine. I think they both look equally fine. You don't have to add a little wooden tree trunk. It's just whatever you think looks best. You could add embellishments to each tree if you wanted, some ornaments or some garland. You could use these as ornaments or as tags for your gifts. That's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. See you in the next one.